It was Graham Hill who summed it all up by saying, "It takes a great lack of imagination to be a really quick racing car driver." If any of us ever imagined what would happen in an accident at over 180 miles an hour, we'd never step into the cars. Well, the problem is it takes a great imagination to be an effective ESPN motorsports correspondent. The only way to accurately report about life in fifth gear at over 180 miles an hour is to make a trip to that special environment myself and hopefully return with a personal report. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. You don't want to miss this one. With great difficulty to squeeze into the tight Benetton Tyrrell chassis, two things were racing through my mind. First, was I capable of 180 miles per hour? Even though I'm a retired veteran of over 200 races, the last time I had 500 horsepower behind me in an open-wheel single-seater was in 1970. My last full season was in 1977. But the doubt was overwhelmed by the anticipation of what I knew that fifth gear environment would produce. Everybody's sensation pumping away at 120%. Once strapped in, my mind turned to only one thing, fulfilling a lifelong desire to drive a Formula One racing car and to once again enter that top speed world. Nothing else mattered. The risks involved were pushed to the back of my mind, trying to subdue that imagination that created this trial. Ken Tyrrell was risking $250,000 worth of Formula One race car. And maybe even more. Every lap brought more security and cautious confidence. By the third tour, I was there, flat down in fifth for over 20 seconds, and every sensation going over the top. Well, home safely in the pits after spending 5 laps in the top speed environment here around Kyalami. It was unbelievable. The acceleration, first of all. My tongue was actually rolling back in my mouth because of the acceleration of the car. I physically had to hold it down. My eyes were being pulled back. I felt like someone on one of those jet sleds you see with their skin being wrinkled by the acceleration. But the top speed itself was the most special thing. You weren't only going down the road, but the end of the road was rushing towards you. It was a whole nother dimension of speed. And like I was hoping, the sensations were pushed above the 100% level. The vision was like turning up the bright control on your color television. Everything that was colorful was twice as colorful. The sound of the motor wasn't just a roar of an engine. You could actually hear the mechanics of it, the tappets up and down, valves opening and closing. It was unbelievable. Even the smell and the taste, to actually be able to smell the tires or even taste them as they go over your lips. It's incredible. Now, the feeling of it, you say race car drivers must feel it in the seat of their pants. Well, if they feel it there, they're about 2 seconds too late. You have to feel it in the end of your fingertips. And it's a remarkable sensation that speed pushes your perceptions to the limits of that you become that alive. Maybe the only thing that comes close to it is snow skiing back in good old Breckenridge, Colorado, when you point the skis straight down the mountain and you're on the limit and your body has to go up to 100% or maybe even beyond to maintain stability, to maintain life. But there you're only with yourself in the mountain. Here you're with 500 horsepower and a machine that's trying to control you instead of you control it. The only disappointment was having to come in. I would still like to be out there and feeling that again. I want to thank Ken Tyrrell and especially the Benetton Tyrrell team for giving me this opportunity. And we certainly appreciate the fine cooperation of the people here at Kyalami Raceway for letting us do these 5 flying laps in 5th gear.